With warmer weather here, we're all anxious to enjoy nature. Doesn't that sound nice?
It does.
Yeah, we can always enjoy the beauty of the outdoors, regardless of the weather, when we follow Charlotte interior designer Traci Zeller's tips for bringing the best of nature into our home's decor. Traci Zeller, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
We love having you here. This is really a trend. We saw this, my producer and I were looking through magazines and saw this segment about bringing the outdoors in. Why is that such a popular trend?
It is a trend. It's been popular for several years, and it's almost become a catchphrase. And I think it's two-sided. I think part of it is over the years we've had an increasing awareness of, ecological issues, and so that's part of it. But for me, what it's really about is just the ease and the relaxed feeling that you have in the outdoors, and bringing that into your home, but in a slightly more comfortable, temperature-controlled, bug-free way.
Bug-free, I like that, for sure.
But you said it's about textures, that's what you say about?
Natural textures is one of my favorite ways to bring the outdoors in. There are 5 elements I try to incorporate in almost every room, and that's the first. I love sisal rugs and grass cloth walls. There's some grass cloth wallpaper over on the bulletin board, and you can see a couple of examples of sisal rugs. In a dining room I designed recently, we used both sisal rugs and grass cloth wallpaper.
We're looking at a picture right here.
And you can see that the room is polished, but it still feels comfortable. And even though in photography you can't really tell that there's texture on the wall, you can see that there's a certain amount of variation in color that you get, a depth that's created that you don't have with paint.
It looks great. And again, it's a way to bring sort of the outdoors in, and it still looks put together.
Exactly, natural elements, and there are ways to make it look casual or sophisticated. A looser weave is more casual and a tighter weave is more sophisticated. And if you don't want to install anything permanent, you can always use something easy like a basket that contains your clutter and has that organic element, so you have a win-win right there.
I love this in homes. I think it looks so pretty. Natural fabric, that's another way you can achieve this look.
It is. I love linens, wools, cottons. The term hand of the fabric is how a fabric feels, and it's hard to replicate that with synthetics. I brought some linen and some cotton napkins, and you can just feel that there's a certain crispness or sometimes roughness to the fibers. But don't forget, even blends are good too. Sometimes a cotton linen blend can give you the best of both worlds. It's a little bit more easy care and less wrinkly than 100% linen tends to be.
Okay, that's good. A natural wood finishes.
Well, Colleen, we've seen so many painted finishes these days, but don't forget that natural wood is beautiful just by itself. This is a relatively inexpensive piece from a big retailer, and it's got this great wood finish on it. You don't feel like they have to match. You can get stains in any shade from light to dark, and as long as they complement each other, I'm thrilled when it's not a matched set.
It looks nice when it's not matchy-matchy. I actually like that. I think some people are afraid to mix the finishes, but it's totally acceptable.
It's totally acceptable. In the Homerama house that I designed last year, visitors saw a number of wood finishes. There were oak floors that were stained dark walnut.
Oh, nice.
There's a chestnut finish on the light fixtures, and the table has a grayish tone. And because they are all have the same warmth to them, they all sit well together.
You designed that?
I did.
Oh, my goodness.
You're never coming over to my house, by the way.
Oh,
you won't judge me.
Anytime. I never would.
My kitchen doesn't look like that. Does not look like that.
Well, here's the other thing. Bringing in the outdoors about bringing in greenery. That's a big thing.
It is. Live plants and cut greens make a big difference. And Jean, I so wish I had a green thumb, but I do not. And that's why these are succulents, because succulents require very little care. I bought these at Metrolina Expo. They were less than $20 a piece, including the planter.
Really?
And they require almost no maintenance. Of course, if that's even too much for you, you go into your yard, you cut one of those flowering branches, or maybe you have a kind neighbor that doesn't mind, you stick that in a vase and call it a day.
I like that.
And that's pretty too, yes? Lastly, outdoor views. Something you want to say about that?
I do. We can't really capture that with a prop, but there's a reason people prefer windows, offices with windows to offices without, and that's because we feel relaxed when we can look outside. So even though we all want our seating areas to take advantage of the television, make sure that there's at least one seating area that looks out to the windows. There is a TV in this room, and the chairs are you're facing the TV, but the sofa is looking out on this glorious backyard with the big windows. And what you can't even tell in the photo is that we've extended the curtain rod a little bit off the sides, and that lets you stack your drapery back so that it doesn't eat into the sunlight from the window.
Is that sisal too? Is that a sisal rug on the rug?
It has a sisal
Yeah, it
wool,
is, right.
so it's a perfect example of a
nice.
blend. So it's a little less scratchy than a sisal, but same
Like it.
texture.
Yes, I knew that, Lane. We had sisal.
I know. He knows how to chop pillows, too. It's quite
That's it.
useful.
I'm
Go to
impressed.
TraciZeller.com. TraciZeller.com. That's where you can find Traci online. It's Traci, TraciZeller.com. You are so good. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
Great tips.